Good morning. Thank you for joining me for another 5 good minutes with the Word. I'm Barry Bryson, and we are still in our study of Psalm 119. I hope you're enjoying this a tenth of as much as I am, because I love this song, and I have indulged myself in giving myself the opportunity to share it with a few of you. We are up to the letter N, noon, verses 105 through 112. And remember, every verse in this section, 8-verse section, begins with the letter N. If we know one verse from Psalm 119, it's verse 105. In fact, it's probably one of the 10, perhaps one of the 5 most familiar verses in all the Bible. And an acquaintance of mine wrote a famous song, Michael W. Smith, who grew up in my hometown, a year or two older than I am. And Amy Grant had a quite famous rendition of Thy Word. We know verse 105, Thy Word is a lamp unto my feet and a light to my path. This section, 105, 112, when we went in with the letter L, it was so cosmological and yet so visceral in its cry for help. And then with the letter M, we had this exquisitely crafted poem about, the blessings of the law, what the law has done for him, and it quantified his feelings about the law by expressing the way he felt about it through one of our 5 senses. Sweeter, it tastes like honey, sweeter than honey in the honeycomb. And now he continues on. Just the brilliance of this young man and the way he expresses himself, and also, I believe, the signature of the Holy Spirit moves from our sense of taste to our sense of sight immediately with the letter N. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. In this couplet, and I don't know how he wrote this all in one sitting. I imagine that he's writing a couplet a day. So it's almost, to me, and this is just me, imagining it in my head, so that I can categorize it a bit for myself as I love it and read it. It's almost like a daily journal. It's almost like the Marcus Aurelius's meditations. I imagine him each day getting through his day by being able to express himself in these 8-verse couplets. So to me, on this day, this is a hard day. This is a day when the difficulties of his persecution are particularly acute. And he's, to me, in the presence of God, giving himself a pep talk through this. Let's read these verses. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. I have sworn, and I will confirm it, that I will keep your righteous ordinances. I am exceedingly afflicted. Revive me, O Lord, O Yahweh, according to your word. O accept the freewill offerings of my mouth, O Yahweh, and teach me your ordinances. My life is continually in my hand, yet I do not forget your law. The wicked have laid a snare for me, yet I have not gone astray from your precepts. I have inherited your testimonies forever, for they are the joy of my heart. I have inclined my heart to perform your statutes forever, even to the end. Everything that we've talked about, these themes, is what's in his heart, the fact that his walk with God is a walk, that he's on a path, right? He said this so many times. I've inclined my feet. I did not hesitate to walk. He understands that he's not a rule keeper. He's a disciple. He's walking a path of righteousness, and he has a lamp in the darkness. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. So he's building on the whole notion of the walk, and also the word being experienced through our 5 senses. And of course, for readers, we perceive the word through our eyes primarily, do we not? Okay, those of us who are sighted, some of us are not, and we have auditory or tactile experience, but we do experience the word through our 5 senses, so that's something to remember as well. I see him in the first few verses convincing himself. I'm going to do this, saying it to God as a way of confirming it, not just to God, but to himself. And then there's the cry for help. You got to keep me alive. You have to breathe life into me because I am exceedingly afflicted. The turns of phrase in the middle, accept the free will offerings of my mouth. Every Sunday, I say sometimes to you as we start to worship together, but always to myself, accept our sacrifice of praise. And he sees praise as a sacrifice, as an offering, as an incense to God. God does too. And accept the free will offering of my mouth. Your mouth has given me light. Accept my, thank you, my free will offering from my mouth. Teach me your ordinances. And every one of these, he's saying, I need to know more. We haven't emphasized that enough. And then this, my life is continually in my hand. We would expect him to say, my life is in their hands, or my life is in your hand. And it seems odd that he would say it that way. And it took me a long time, I think, to get this, but I think I do get this. His life is in his hand. In other words, every day he's on a knife's edge because there's so much pressure on him to do wrong. But he knows what it means to do right. And every day he needs that infusion of God's help to keep from taking his spiritual life and destroying it by responding in all the wrong ways one can respond to evil, by fighting it in the wrong way, by succumbing to it, by yielding to it, by letting it run right over you. But there's only one way to deal with it correctly, and that's God's way. And so to me, if we have one gem of a moment, of an image in this psalm to take with us, it's when he says, my life is in my hand. And I need you to help me not destroy my own life, because there are so many ways for me to go wrong. And I need your help so that I will go right. Because ultimately we make our own decisions and we exercise our free will, and we are responsible for the choices that we make. Okay, thank you so much for joining me for the letter N. We do not have the letter O because there are no vowels in the Hebrew alphabet. We have the letter Samek, one of the many S's in their alphabet. We'll pick up with there in verse 113 tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for this very long edition of 5 Good Minutes.